Moderator, I'm sure that many of our commissioners are familiar with the delay when a local news correspondent on TV is asked a question in a far-flung place, as the question is relayed from the studio across the miles. And in today's Assembly, there is a delay between what is heard and what is spoken from our local correspondents, our commissioners, here into the studio today. And as a deaf person who only hears by speaking, I do apologise for the slight delay if I have to wait for your lips to move after your voice has been heard. And as there is much for the Assembly to consider today, I know that you'll have all had a chance to see and hear my report online. So without any further ado, I wish to formally present the report. And as I am not a commissioner, I ask the Principal Clerk to move the deliverances.
Moderator, I so move.
Seconded.
Thank you very much. Questions? As had happened earlier, there's one question from Carla Ingram. I've got another one that looks as though someone may have asked a question, but there's no name against it. So if you do wish to ask a question on the Safeguarding Committee report, please press your button now, and I will invite Carla Ingram to ask her question.
Carla Ingram, 753. Moderator, can I please ask the convener if there are any plans or considerations being made to make safeguarding information more easily accessible, particularly to those individuals who are not safeguarding coordinators? As a youth worker, I would certainly find it helpful in the work I do with vulnerable people. When I need to find the answers to certain things, I find it difficult to know which safeguarding handbook to look in or where else to find the information I need. And I am sure I am not the only one who feels this way. Thank you.
Thank you much, Carla. Adam.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. I think it's very important that the information that everyone requires from safeguarding is easily accessible. I do share and understand your frustration when it comes to trying to pick through the different handbooks. And in my report, I said that I would be hoping to be able to put together all of those handbooks into one more easily accessible platform. And indeed, this is a work in progress. We would be delighted to have your assistance in doing so. So if there's anything in particular that would help you, if you could get into contact with us, we are very much for looking into this and working on making sure that safeguarding is easily accessible for everyone.
Thank you, Adam. And Andrea Boys. Andrea, would you pass your question, please?
Thank you, Moderator. Andrea Boys, 606. I just want to thank the convener for his report and to recognise the absolute importance of safeguarding in our church today, especially in light of the report from Faith Impact regards violence in women and young children. With that in mind, I want to just draw to our training in 2.7 in the report and see the necessity of increased training across the church. I note with interest packages for the staff in 121 offices and also for MDS employed. I wonder if this training could possibly be made online for churches, especially in rural and remote areas. I speak of my own congregation where, as we look forward to meeting with the young people and children that we did and over the last few years for holiday clubs, etc., we are desperate for ongoing training to continue. I just wondered if this hadn't happened for churches because of COVID-19 or staff being on furlough, but can I urge the convener to take this forward? Thank you.
Adam.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea, for the question. A number of presbyteries over this last year, largely in immediate response to the difficulties caused by COVID-19, had piloted their own online platform for training. The challenge really for the safeguarding service is now to integrate what's been learned so far into a method that is uniform across the country. Last summer, albeit some initial teething problems, we managed to deliver online training to candidates for ministry particularly well. And the ability to use Zoom now is particularly helpful in developing online training. So yes, we are looking at this, and we will be hoping to develop this much further over the next year. We also have had our training officer, Noelle, return from maternity leave, and so we look forward to all that Noelle will have in helping progress this further forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no further questions. We now come to fast tracking. I have no requests to speak at the present time on sections 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So if anyone wishes to speak on any of these sections, will you please indicate your request to speak now? There having been no further requests to speak, I declare that sections 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 are duly passed. We will now proceed to section 3, where I have a request to speak from Fiona Smith. Reverend Fiona Smith, please.
(583) Fiona Smith. Thank you, moderator. I have to confess that Safeguarding Sunday has passed me by in previous years. And I just want to commend this to people, and because I'm commending it to myself. And also in relation to what we have just been talking about a wee while ago in the Faith Impact Forum. Maybe there is something here in us actually looking at how we can address issues of safeguarding in terms of sermons and prayers. There is so much fear associated with safeguarding. We know it's important, there's complications and training and everything. But actually, we all need to be learning and guided by the Holy Spirit in deepening our connections and understanding for the protection of all the people of God. And of course, we focus rightly with safeguarding on children, but we've also got lots to learn about adults who are vulnerable, people with learning disabilities, and then again, the issues of domestic abuse against men and women, and so many other things. So I, for one, am going to see what I can do. I love the fact it can be any day in October. And I thank the Safeguarding Committee for all of their hard work in what is a vital part of our church's life. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Fiona. Convener, you wish to say anything?
Just to very quickly say to Fiona, it's not passed you by because this is us introducing it. So we're delighted to be able to introduce it. So so please don't feel that it's passed you by, and we'll hopefully be able to get some information and materials out to everybody. So we welcome that.
Thank you. I was just saying to Fiona, she's actually done a service in giving a better plug to the commissioners about Safeguarding Sunday. We must now take a vote on section 3. Will you press your buttons for or against? Voting open. Voting is closed. They voted for 427 and against 21, so that section is carried. The reason I was delaying somewhat there is that I was getting a message to say that someone had been trying to register a request to speak on section 8, but had been unable to get through. So I think, excuse me, in the circumstances, I just invite, again, if anyone wants to speak on section 8, if they would indicate. I know it has been passed, but I think given it was a technical thing that someone didn't get through, I think it's only in fairness that we allow that if someone wishes to register that. But we can now, in the meantime, move on to section 6, where I have a request from Suzanne Fletcher. Suzanne.
Moderator 076, Reverend Susie Fletcher. Thank you to the committee for their hard work and their reassurances in very many different ways during COVID time, having put in requests for various things over the year. But I wonder if it is possible for us to look under this deliverance at the options that might be available to us ecumenically. We've talked a lot this week about the upcoming approval, hopefully, with the Scottish Episcopal Church and other denominations with the Columba Declaration. And I think it's really important for us to be able to work alongside our ecumenical partners in the local parishes, in our communities. I am now helping with the safeguarding for our local youth project. And one of the challenges we're finding is training for that. I've spoken with the convener about this and with the office, and there doesn't seem to be a mechanism whereby people who are trained through their individual congregations in different denominations can then have that training transferred into another charity which works on behalf of the churches in the community. So I wonder if it would just be possible to note that here and to encourage that kind of work to continue as we work more closely with our brothers and sisters in Christ across the country. Thank you, Moderator.
Convener.
Thank you. Very happy to note what Susie's spoken about and to offer our assurance that we'll continue to work towards ironing out these issues.
Thank you. I think that there's still nothing come up, but I do see the Reverend Dr. Ian McLean is on screen, so clearly he's been trying, and I think in the circumstances, we know that he wishes to register to speak, so I'm going to actually call on Ian Oh, sorry, before we go there, I've got to take section 6 first in my haste. Can we have a vote on section 6, for and against? Buttons ready, please. Please, voting open. Voting closed. There have voted for 433. There have voted against none. We therefore, section 6 is therefore passed. We therefore come to section 8, and I invite Reverend Dr. Ian McLean to speak, please. Ian.
Moderator McLean 493. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Clerk of the Presbytery of Angus. I appreciate that there has been an awful lot going on, and putting the safeguarding registers online over the past year presumably was just proved to be impossible. My question is simply, is the convener in a position to indicate the kind of timescale that we're speaking about? Because it has been spoken about now for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Convener.
Thank you, Ian, for the question. Yes, it has been slow moving, and the last 18 months have not been particularly helpful. But it's my hope that the development in this process is imminent, and we do have assurances from the Assembly trustees and IT that this is top of the list, or certainly fairly close to the top. So it's my hope that we can do this as quickly as possible. It's very difficult to put a timing on that, given that we're asking and we're hoping for another department to deliver. But I would certainly hope that this could be done by the end of this calendar year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I therefore must put section 8 to our vote. Buttons ready, for or against. Voting open. Voting closed. There have voted for 450 and against 1, and therefore I declare Section 8 carried. The remaining sections 9, 10 and 11 have already been fast-tracked. I therefore put the deliverance as a whole to the Assembly. Thank you very much. Adam, thank you very much. I think what we're finding in some of these reports coming that although there's not much activity generated in Speak, nevertheless, it in no way diminishes the work which goes on within safeguarding within the committee for which you're responsible. And for that, the Church is extremely grateful. It's a very sensitive, as we know from our newspapers and TV every day, it's a very sensitive area. And we very much appreciate the important work which you do. And in your report, you did mention that Caroline Deeran would be retiring as the Vice Convener after many years of service, where she's brought her professional expertise. So we'd be grateful if you'd pass on to her the thanks of the General Assembly for all she has done. And thank you.